And it's time to talk with Freddie Woolfork, Gifford Youth Achievement Center. Hello, Freddie.
Good morning, Bob. How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm energized. I'm just floating. I'm not making any footprint or feetprint or whatever you want to call it. I am floating with the atmosphere that's exuding itself in our community. When I say community, I don't mean just Gifford. I mean in Indian River County, how this beautiful unification atmosphere has seemed to be just floating around. And maybe I'm the only one, but it feels good.
Well, you know, I think I don't think you're the only one. I think that we're fortunate we live in an area where things like this can happen.
Yes, and the thing about it is that we learn how to be flexible in our way of life. We understand things. Rainy day is going to come. It's not if they're going to come, it's when they're going to come, because they're going to come, but it behooves us to continue to do what we do, is be proactive and not reactive. If I am proactive, that means I'm preparing myself for whatever is to come. But if I'm reactive, that means you slap me, I slap you back. You know, not knowing that when I slapped you the first time, Bob, that someone had said, if you slap him, I'll give you $1 million. So I do it, but you didn't know that. See, if I'd have been proactive and said, listen, Bob, someone want to give me $1 million if I slap you, would you let me if I give you a hand? What you going to say?
Sure.
How much time you want to do it? So my point is that we have to be proactive in preparing people for what we're planning, and the prime example of that was this past weekend. I would never in 1,000 years thought we can have 5 different activities going on in the Gifford area almost simultaneously. And those 5 things were stemming from over on what we call the lower end of Gifford, near the hospital, in the Jose Schumann Park dedication, as well as the Gifford High School, Old Gifford High School, unveiling of that particular document, that ornament. So it was just great. Then we left there and came back over to the Gifford Park, which is now the Victor Hart Community Enhancement Complex. That particular park was ready for the Juneteenth. And on the grounds of the Gifford Youth Achievement Center that same day, we had Treasure Coast Community Health giving out vaccine. On that same property that same day, we had voters registration. Ms. Leslie Swan and some others were registering people to vote. So all that was going on, Bob, in one day. So I'm floating because I know now that where there's proper planning, then you get positive results. And that's been happening now this past, I say, 6 months, starting way back, Bob, when we talked about Black History Month, how important it was to educate individuals on how important it is to educate and bring to the forefront everybody's heritage, not just Black, but also Hispanic, Caucasians, Latino, Asians. Everybody should be able to highlight their particular heritage. And then when they do that, not only do they become more confident in who they are, but people around them also gain knowledge too. So it's just great, and we'll continue this whole process on with the summer program we have going on right now with pretty close to 200 kids coming here every day, not just rolling the basketball out, but just learning how to prepare themselves for the next grade level. If you're in first grade, we're teaching you concepts from second grade. If you're sixth grade, to seventh grade, and so on. So when they go back to school in the fall, being proactive, still that's our theme for this morning, proactive in learning now what you would need later. I like that. I'm going to use that one again, Bob. Just came up with that one.
That's right. Give them that broccoli and then give them the ice cream.
Oh, wait a minute now. You remember it. You remember it.
Yeah, that's
a good one. Oh, my goodness. I'm impressed, Bob. I'll give you an A now. I had mark you down to a B. I'll put you back up to A now. You just got it back.
Good. You don't have to slap me now. That's good.
But we're just happy to hear it, and with the change in attitude, and we got the planning stages now already. School is still out, but we have to start planning for back to school bash. So we ask everybody to please give supplies to young people so they have their equipment that they need to be successful in school. That's going to be August 7th. We'll talk more about it in the weeks to come. But you can start dropping off items anytime. We will be unwrapped out of the book bag so that we can make sure that every book bag has the same amount and not one person has a computer while the other person has a pencil and paper. No, we want an even playing field for everybody. One other thing, Bob, I'm happy to hear from the county that the water tank painting will be taking place. And that's going to take place, according to Mr. Vincent Burke, on Monday, June 28th, around 9 o'clock. And that's up by Gifford Middle School. The big blue tank is going to be painted. So we're going to get up there, and people from the community and the county are going to witness that name Gifford being put back on the water tank, which is another part of that proactive stage to show a person that your identity, your location, you mean something, and here's the name on the tank to prove that. So that's happening too. But we are doing one last thing. I want to squeeze this in. We have Mr. Chuck Sullivan, as well as his dad, Charles Sullivan, has some property on 45th Street, and they have a big wall up there. And he called me, that's Mr. Charles Sullivan, Sr. as well as Jr., called me and asked me to find some young people who want to paint a mural, a positive mural on that big wall they have facing 45th Street. And that way we can leave a nice message through that painting, whether it's words or whether it's pictorials, whatever it may be. But we want the young people to paint that to show us adults how positive thinking can bring about positive results. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, so you got somebody, some folks were willing to do it?
Yeah, we got a couple artists. One is Jamal Hayes. He's a noted photographer and artist in our area. We also have Shirley Riley, who's a notable mural person. So she's excited. So we're going to be meeting today at 10 o'clock to brainstorm how we can interact among each other to allow the children to come up with theme and whether it's a Florida scene, whether it's a educational scene, whether it's a diversity scene of different people and different races holding hands together. I don't know what they'll come up with, but I think it's a great opportunity to once again be proactive in spewing out positive things instead of negative things. And I do believe, Bob, I'm a firm believer that we have more positive people in our county than we think. We don't silent majority, but we must rise to the forefront and begin to acknowledge and to accentuate those great things that we have. So I'm looking forward to it. And when that happens, that mural happens, I want you to come and look at it, okay?
Oh, you bet. All right, Freddie. Well, listen, have yourself a wonderful rest of the week, and we will talk to you again soon. All right.
Thank you, Bob.
Bye-bye.
You have a great day, too.